All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Cash and Tho, taking place here on, well, Springtime version 1.3. On the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have Springtime spawning as, well, I can totally do this. Yeah, all right. We have Springtime spawning as the orange orc player. Meanwhile, Tho spawning as the purple human. Let's go ahead and speed things up here. Oh, a little bit of a delay on this farm here. Altar of Kings is being built, but no farm yet. Oh, and then Blacksmith, there we are. But that's still a rather early Altar of Kings. If this is going to be a rifle build, this isn't, no, it is your traditional rifle build. That got started a little bit later than normal. All right, so it is going to be Rifle Paladins going up against Orc, while Cash is going to be opening things up with Farseer Headhunters here, and also going for some early Orc Burrows. So we're not going to see a fast tech to tier 2 here on this Springtime version 1.3, as the Paladin quickly goes after this creep camp over here on the top, off to the north here. Should be able to easily clear it out. Having that option for Militia really does change a bit of things here, as the Paladin now makes its way down. Rifleman takes a little bit of damage. We're doing still a little bit of fighting here, perhaps a little bit more poking back and forth. We're going to see more riflemen getting trained up here, and, well, from here, there are a number of options that can happen. Cash purposely making sure that those wolves are resummoned and don't give any experience to that paladin there, as the rifleman can put pressure onto those wolves fairly fast, and then forcing them to back off. The last thing you want to do is, well, feed your opponent experience, giving them that, well, hero level advantage. Coming back around, happy 1211. Do you know where your Crotaxi is? All right. Well, anyways, coming back through, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you may be watching or listening. Hoping you guys enjoy this game here. This game actually came recommended, so should be a great matchup, as Cash now pulling back with those Spirit Wolves as well. Are we going to see some Holy Light onto that Rifleman? We are. A little bit of Focus Fire. The Farseer taking the majority of the damage this time around, as the Paladin will be, well, trying to back up again. This is a weird spot for a human player. You want to put damage onto the Farseer, as well. The Farseer, once the pressure is off or enough onto that Farseer is going to try and retreat back. However, if you only put pressure on the Farseer, all the damage you're really doing is just 33 gold worth of damage, right? Rifleman gonna try and dodge around here. We're gonna see a cooldown on that little bit of damage. There is another Holy Light. Another wolf is gonna get taken down here. We're more damage onto that Farseer, down to 45 hit points. That little bit of range difference actually making a big impact, as the Riflemen are gonna, well, try and rotate around the corner. We see Headhunters now making their way back down south here. Paladin perhaps gonna try and picks up Boots of Speed, and now the Paladin gonna turn into a little bit of a pincushion, as the Headhunters are able to do some poking, as we see a quick run by. Now what's happening next? Militia now clearing off the north side here. There goes an ensnare onto a Rifleman. The Farseer, as we said, is just gonna head home and just use a Clarity Potion and a Healing Salve, walk back, and he'll be fairly strong overall. Tho, meanwhile, trying to retreat back with those Riflemen here, and Rifle Caster, there's a little bit more damage again, as the Headhunters making their way back off to the north. All right. You can see a Spearman doing a little bit of poking. Headhunters trying to come back around. Could have easily finished this off. And what is this? The Paladin getting greedy. Getting very greedy, going after this orange creep camp. And while this is happening, Naga Sea Witch, Cash is already at tier 2, and this is going to be huge. Cash takes the item kill, dealing large amounts of damage to some of those. Oh, that Rifleman able to back up in time, but Naga Sea Witch and the Farseer getting the kill, stealing that bit of experience. A Rifleman was lost as well. However, with that Rifleman, it was taken down by the creep camps, so no experience given, meaning that the Farseer and the Naga Sea Witch are still pretty far back here. All right, they're going to go ahead and try to dive in Arcane Tower straight up onto that Naga Sea Witch here, now getting that Rifleman range upgrade. That range upgrade so important, giving 50% more range and essentially allowing the rifleman to outshoot how far those headhunters throw those spears. Meanwhile, Paladin going to be joined alongside the Blood Mage if enough repairs or if that Altar of Kings can hold on. We're seeing Militia now coming off of the lumber line here to try and push back. There goes another bit of damage. So Cash is just doing a great job being able to focus down a 1 or 2 unit at a time with a bit of, well, just with a bit of focus fire. There's a little bit of Holy Light right there, and doing a great job once more by Though to make sure he doesn't overheal any unit. Are we going to see another heal right there? Yes, we do. That rifleman does stay alive ever so barely. More peasants, more riflemen constantly need to be trained up. The army of Though is rather small right now, still needing to engage, and there's a siphon mana into that paladin, allowing that paladin to do its thing and perhaps get in some more holy lights as well. All right, there's going to be a siphon mana draining up that Farseer. You're going to look at that Blood Mage sitting uncomfortably at 97 mana, still wanting to drain a little bit more, perhaps grab some from that Farseer again. Farseer losing quite a bit of mana, but Blood Mage losing quite a bit of health points, but it doesn't matter if there's still mana on that Paladin here as we're draining mana back. That Blood Mage, the tide of that battle, absolutely clutch. You see such a large shift in the overall way the momentum of that battle went. One unit making such a profound and drastic difference as the Blood Mage, well, he's wearing dual Rings of Protection +3, so his armor is actually really high. Add on top of that, we're looking at a flat 200 hit point heals. Well, the Blood Mage is taking reduced damage while getting healed up a lot as well, and that's the reason why that Blood Mage is just so tanky. Now, Paladin getting in a little bit more mana again. The Blood Mage may try to drain more mana from the Farseer and that Naga Sea Witch. Spirit Walkers are now also out here onto the battlefield as well, and well, Though is just trying to clear up all of these creep camps and get to level 3 on that Paladin and level 2 on that Blood Mage. Now, coming back down to the south side here, are we going to see a little bit of mana drain once more? Trying to drain it from any particular target. We're going to see the damage. No, we are not. We're going to see a little Spearman get finished off here pretty easily. And now, well, the Farseer and Naga Sea Witch both sitting at level 1. And how often do you see this? A level 1 Farseer first with an Orb of Lightning. 3 level 1 heroes walk into a human army, and yeah, maybe that's the beginning of a bad Warcraft 3 joke, but here we are. We're exactly seeing this 9 minutes into this game. We see Torrent out here on the field, and Torrent are going to be an absolute mess against these riflemen. Remember, Pulverize deals major bouts of damage, normal damage right there, and we're just seeing that Pulverized damage come back across. We do also see Spirit Link, so that's the reason why these Torrent are so difficult to finish off, as this Torrent able to escape away at 181 hit points. All right, more units backing up here. There goes another. There's level 2 now on that Blood Mage. Blood Mage going to drain more mana out of that Ogre Magi as this creep camp is finally going to get cleared up. Paladin going to get to level 3. Needs to finish off this Ogre Magi creep camp, and by doing so, well, level 2 Holy Light. Wand of Mana Stealing already being pulled as well. So much mana control between that Blood Mage and that Wand of Mana Stealing. It's going to be interesting to see how this all works out as we see more Siphon mana rushing on in. Oh, quick Hex onto the Paladin. That means no heals for a while. Purge onto the Rifleman. He gets taken down. More damage. Torrent, more damage here. Torrent continuing to just absolutely pulverize, and Cash is easily winning this battle. There's a Flame Strike. That's not going to be enough to finish off any of those targets there. Perhaps, yes, Spirit Link able to, spare some damage again as we're looking at, 2-2-1 going up against a level 3, level 2. All right, a couple more Spirit Walkers perhaps going to get taken down here. A little bit more damage. Oh, Ethereal form prevents any more physical damage, and that's all we have as the Rifleman and, the Rifle Caster army doesn't have any real way to deal magic damage aside from a Flame Strike. All right, Are we going to see a flame strike? That is the question. Oh, are we going to force an engagement? We're going to looking at some damage here. Oh, are we? Well, not quite sure. A flame strike could be in order, but there's some siphon mana first. Needs to get a little bit more mana for it to actually work out well. Meanwhile, Tauren is going to get surrounded, but you don't want to surround a Tauren with riflemen. That pulverize is going to just pulverize all of those riflemen easily. Siphon mana, Hex. Oh, Blood Mage going to be in trouble. Hex, level 2 now on the Shadow Hunter. The Hex lasting so long, the Paladin unable to get the Holy Light off, and Tho is going to be forced to retreat with his tail between his legs, unsure of how to proceed. We are at tier 3, but we didn't get a third hero yet. Blood Mage was resurrected at the tavern. We're not training up a third hero, and well, 50 supply compared to 39. All right, Tho gonna end up losing another rifleman here. We're looking at those Tauren with, well, Spirit Link able to absorb and take so much damage, but that's 2 very low hit point riflemen, or low hit point Tauren. Are we going to see one Tauren down? Another Tauren can get taken down right here. Is he going to get taken down? Yes, he does. Suddenly, a 10 supply shift in the battle, 45 supply compared to 33, as the, well, rifleman still trying to stay alive, trying to hold it together here as another rifleman gets taken down. All right, the army, obviously, of Tho, not that strong right now. Are we going to see level 2 Flame Strike? More siphon mana, perhaps? There's a little bit more siphon mana trying to shut down the Farseer from its play. Well, Orc is just pushing back this rather small human army, as the Paladin could be in a little bit of trouble. Paladin now trying to double back around. Are we going to see a Flame Strike go across all of these units? No, we are not. Just a little bit of separation, and here we are. Blood Mage, Paladin now making their way back off to the north. All right, there's a little bit more siphon mana here. Who's taking the damage? It needs to be that Blood Mage. The Blood Mage actually has much higher armor, 11 armor compared to the Paladin's 7. And with that, he can, well, siphon mana, give it back to the Paladin. Paladin can then heal for 400 hit points, rinse and repeat, and that seems to be the strategy here. All right. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter making its way back around Tuskar Trapper. Those are going to get cleaned up here. Spirit Walker is right there. Are we going to see a Flame Strike? No, siphon mana. Blood Mage has a mana addiction that only the Orc heroes can, well, fix. A little bit more damage coming across here. Tuskar Sorcerer, wow, with medium armor and inner fire, difficult to focus fire down. 33 supply compared to 45. We are looking at 1-1 upgrades against no upgrades by Cash, as we're getting level 2 upgrades and also a Griffin Aviary. Dual Griffin Aviaries, in fact. All right. As the Shaman going to get cleaned up here. No siphon mana off of him. Not quite sure why. There's a rejuvenation. Level 4 now on that Paladin. Level 2 Devotion Aura. Meaning these riflemen now have a lot more armor than you would think, and still more damage here. There's some more siphon mana again. Forest Troll High Priest losing a lot of that mana, and well, are we going to perhaps take it from the tracker as well? There's a siphon mana, perhaps give it back to that Paladin. Paladin gonna get Holy Light, and that rinse and repeat strategy over and over. We do see triple level 2 heroes. We should be looking at a double level up from Cash off of the Farseer and the Naga Sea Witch. And now the Shadow Hunter needs just a little bit more to to hit that tipping point. All right, Blood Mage now also adding in a Talisman of Evasion. So 15% dodge on top of 9 armor. Very strong, effective hit points overall now. If that Blood Mage is just going to be a tank. All right, high armor with evasion. You'd think we were talking about a Demon Hunter. All right, more damage coming back across here. You can see that tracker, well, doesn't want to stick around, doesn't want to be absorbing all of that damage, especially the magic damage from the Griffin Riders. Oh, so the Griffin Riders also have level 1 attack upgrades. Meanwhile, we're looking at a big pressure onto the main base right now. More Griffins are getting added in, but who trains Griffins? Well, this is the weird problem. You need the Griffins to deal with the Taurens, but your opponent already has Berserkers. At this point, what are your real options? Stormhammers to get well, a bit of splash damage across these targets, and that is going to be key here, as the, well, the Spirit Wolf quickly gets taken down. All right, tactical retreat, Scroll of Town Portal to head back out. Spirit Link going across multiple targets. However, a number of buildings were taken down. 49 over 46 supply. Yeah. Upside down on supply, but I don't believe Tho was looking to break upkeep anytime soon anyways. All right. Scouting Paladin Illusion walking around. Are we going to see a little bit more damage, more Siphon Mana going after some of these targets again? There goes a couple of Ensnares bringing them down. And well, Siphon Mana off of that Ogre Magi once more. Finishing off these targets one at a time. Let's see a Holy Light most likely. Potion of Invulnerability. That is going to be an awesome pickup for that Paladin who, well, is missing Divine Shield, obviously, but using an item instead. Cash did set up an expo already. That expansion has mined out about 1,900 gold, so it's been up for 3 minutes. And that is allowing Cash to have the economic advantage even though he is in low upkeep. New blacksmith to replace an old one. Does Tho realize that his opponent has actually gone to tier or actually gone into expo game? That is the big question here, as the giant polar bear going to get finished off. Tome of Agility picked up. We're going to try to finish off the remainder of these targets here. There goes an Ice Troll Berserker. A little bit more damage there. Griffin Rider or Magnetar Reaver already down. Well, going to get taken down here. Just a little bit more damage. There it goes. What item is going to get dropped there? Another Talisman of Evasion? I don't know. The top left isn't keeping track. Oh, Warsong Battle Drum. So 7% damage upgrade.
A player's forces are
if you can charge, why not Banshee? Good morning, Arya. Alright. Human versus Orc. Alright, continuing to clear out creep camps. Paladin purposely backing away here. A last tracker going to get taken down. Blood Mage gains a little bit more experience. Interesting, a Ring of Regeneration on the Blood Mage. Extra regeneration on the... Are we going to see a rotation? Oh, wow. Ring of Regeneration now on the Paladin instead, while giving the Invul potion to the Blood Mage. So that does come as a bit of a surprise. We're going to see a couple of dire wolves try to rush on in here. That's not going to be good. Those Griffin Riders are easily going to be able to finish that off, and the Blood Mage now, if he wasn't at level 5 before, definitely is now, as we're going to be looking at an engagement here. Oh, Purge, why is the Paladin so far back? There's a Flame Strike there, level 3 Flame Strike, so much damage on that back line, no Staff of Sanctuary. Alright, that could be a big issue. Griffin Rider, wow, took a couple of round of hits. There's going to be another Flame Strike there. We got to see these Griffin Riders finish off those Tauren. That's exactly what is needed. There it finally gets taken down, and we're still looking at a little bit more battle. Chain Lightning bouncing around. Flame Strike, as all of the Headhunters are just absolutely melting. Remember, they have Berserker Frenzy on as well, so they're taking bonus damage. They're taking extra damage while in Berserker Frenzy, as we see another Orb of Lightning purge down. Alright, Paladin trying to make its way over. Paladin does have level 3 Holy Light, so can really heal up all of those units. And, well, the Flame Strike is really traffic control for all of these Berserkers who need to be stationary to actually deal damage. Alright, we're looking at perhaps another Flame Strike going down. The Blood Mage going to wander in here. There's going to be a Siphon Mana. Farseer now being forced to back up here. A little bit more damage. Are we going to see a Flame Strike on a fleeing unit? And we still don't see it yet. I'm assuming there's going to be a Flame Strike there. They'll have to walk through the fire and the flames. There goes one Headhunter. There goes another. And Headhunters are falling left and right. Another Scroll of Healing being used again, as the Blood Mage has one Scroll of Healing left. Going back, pushing the other way. That Flame Strike not dealing nearly as much as Cash was not trying to chase here. Alright, little bit of damage through another Fork Lightning. And, well, units are getting taken down left and right. 58 supply compared to 71. Blood Mage now finally out of mana. Are we going to see another Holy Light to try to keep him alive? And yes, there's another Holy Light for a little bit of heal again. All right. Continuing with that pressure, the Blood Mage, or Siphon Mana, Mountain King as the third and final hero, going to be joining in on this battle. So a 5-5-1 combination. no Staff of Sanctuary, and then just being able to have a Stormbolt to, well, force fights down. That's going to be an interesting point. All right, this is just mass Berserkers right now, and the mass Berserkers are just using a great job there. Farseer gets taken down after a Stormbolt stuns, and then Flame Strike to finish the job. Units are pulling back again. Blood Mage is low on mana. Mountain King still has plenty of mana here as another Berserker going to get taken out. All right, so level 4, level 3, Farseer getting resurrected. Not enough mana for another Flame Strike here, as we're going to see a Fork Lightning trying to eat through. Level 2 now on the Mountain King. Farseer falls at level 4 again. Naga Sea Witch could be in trouble as it's trying to retreat back around. We're going to see Siphon Mana off of the Shadowhunter. Ethereal Walker can't be in the ethereal form when going up against all of these Griffin Riders, as we're seeing a little bit more damage come back across. Mountain King opted to go for Bash instead of Thunderclap, as the Headhunters are still giving chase. 71 supply compared to 46, and somehow Tho is still in this game, but has now run out of gold in the gold mines. Expansion, long-term or long-distance walking. Not quite sure what is happening here. Are we going to see a couple of items being sold and a Staff of Sanctuary? You can see that the Paladin sold that War Song Battle Drums, has kept the Ring of Superiority, but I am surprised that we don't see a Staff of Sanctuary yet. On top of this, we need to see some sort of haul here to be established if Tho wants to be able to overcome Cash's economic advantage right now, mining 7 gold a second after taxes. 2-0 upgrades on all of those units. Those Griffin Riders do need to be careful. Blood Mages, Flame Strike can't do it all. The Berserkers are getting into frenzied corners as we see a quick Hex onto the Blood Mage. Blood Mage could be in trouble. Knights now out here onto the battlefield as well. So we're transitioning into multiple different types of units by Tho. So Tho attacking with multiple units here. We see some Berserk. There is another quick Hex going down here, and what would be interesting to see is if a Flame Strike gets stopped by a Hex. The channeling window is extremely short, so perhaps Tho is trying to bait out some of those Hexes as well. All right, are we going to see a little bit of a fight here? Blood Mage trying to make its way down. Are we going to see a Hex? We're going to see some damage, more Siphon Mana off of that Shadowhunter. Well, if the Shadowhunter has no mana, that means that there's going to be no Hex, as we're looking at another Headhunter or Berserker getting taken out. All right, Mountain King could be in a little bit of trouble. There's a bit of Holy Light, 600 hit point heal, and there goes a Griffin. Level 4 now onto the Shadowhunter, but the Shadowhunter had mana for that Hex. Chain Lightning bouncing around. Blood Mage now still looking to retreat back. Are we going to see... we've got to see some sort of Flame Strike separating the two armies, making it difficult for Cash to not be able to dodge all of that damage. Paladin getting healed up once again. Blood Mage out of mana already, as the Griffin Riders really have no targets to attack except for maybe a Spirit Walker or two. Mass Berserker army, 3-0 upgraded, and it's going to be up to a Blood Mage, perhaps with some Flame Strikes, to clear or deal some damage onto these Headhunters. Farseer has a Scroll of Healing. Shadowhunter has a Scroll of Healing. Naga Sea Witch has no item, so that's also important to note. If one Flame Strike goes down, it should not be enough, as we see another drain right there. All right, Blood Mage seems to be okay right now. We're looking at a Stormbolt there. A Knight tried to do a little bit of damage. Are we going to... there's another Flame. See a Stormbolt, right? Just try and pick off some of those trailing back units. 43 supply compared to 75, as the expansion off to the north looks like it is ready to be established. All right, if Cash knew that there was no Expo off to the north, would he try and actually go after that, or just send some Spirit Wolves, send something to prevent that Expo from getting operational? Instead, he must assume that Tho already has the base well defended, and now actually has problems as his own base is not defended at all. We're going to see a couple of peons get taken down here. Now, Mountain King is now the one with all of the crazy items. The Paladin doesn't have all that many, only a Ring of Regeneration and a Ring of Superiority. All right, Siphon Mana, there goes the Hex again. Not going to get that much mana. Perhaps you should Stormbolt the Shadowhunter while he is getting drained, and then that way you can get a little bit more mana out of him while preventing keeping the Hex from stopping that all of that action here. All right. Oh, Spirit Walker walks into a Griffin's hammer and quickly gets taken down. More Griffins getting taken down here. We see the Berserker. Are we going to see a Flame Strike here? Or you hear the Berserker Frenzy. There's a Flame Strike. There's a little bit of damage, but it doesn't seem like it's really all that much, as more draining here. All right, Shadow Hunter could be in a little bit of trouble. Blood Mage sitting at level 5. Mountain King coming back across. Blood Mage gets a Holy Light. There's a Flame Strike burning down the Shadow Hunter. Blood Mage could be in trouble. Down to 82, down to 18. He gets taken down. Paladin did not have enough. Mountain King gets a Holy Light heal, and now the Blood Mage is gone at level 5. All right, I was waiting for something to happen, a level up, a Holy Light, something to give a little bit more hit points, and it never happened. No resurrection for the Blood Mage just quite yet. Are we going to see it from the tavern? And yes, we do. So resurrection from the tavern. We're going to see a Holy Light right there. But this army of Berserkers now rushing off to the north. 61 supply compared to 33. Mountain King, what is going to go down here? Griffin Rider's going to turn back around. And are we going to perhaps see some Stormbolt? Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer also getting, siphon mana, trying to double back the other way. Paladin going to be in trouble. Low on mana and hit points himself. Purge onto the Mountain King from that Orb of Lightning. There's a big heal. Mountain King perhaps wishes that he had some way. Are we going to see a Flame Strike go down here? Yes, we are. That's going to be a Flame Strike taking down another round of Berserkers. The Berserkers do not want to be any part of that fight here. Mountain King has no mana, or has no hit points. Blood Mage has hit points, no mana. Paladin has no mana. So this is just a weird spot to be in, as the Mountain King may be forced to retreat back. Mountain King falls at level 2. Siphon mana into the Paladin. Paladin not going to be able to make it out, and it looks like Cash is going to come out on top. There's a... No, it was Divine Shield. Divine Shield. There's a Holy Light. So no ultimate ability. Divine Shield instead. And now we're looking at still a little bit of damage going down onto all of these targets still. All right. The Knight trying off some of those Berserkers. Paladin doesn't have that much mana. We're going to see the Knight in a little bit of trouble here. Perhaps we're going to see a Clarity Potion. That Knight finally gets taken down. That's going to give level 5 to the Naga Sea Witch, as Clarity Potion and a Scroll of Regeneration online here. Arcane Tower trying to go after some of these other targets here. Dual level 6 hero going up a level 5, a level 4, level 4. More Knights showing up. All right, Blood Mage trying to drain here. There's another Holy Light right there, as we're looking at the Paladin trying to lead the charge. Paladin finally takes some damage, and this is going to be a trouble. No, Divine Shield keeps him alive once more. Blood Mage is going to be able to turn around and get a Flame Strike off. That is the big question. Militia being called off here, and now we see the Phoenix. All right, so Phoenix is in play, but a Phoenix going up against mass Berserkers. I'm not quite sure if that is really what the Doctor ordered to try and keep this human army alive. The Phoenix would have been great if there were more Torrent out here on the battlefield. Perhaps a Flame Strike would have been a better call, as the Mountain King shows up to the party. Mountain King wants to get to level 3. Knight is out here as well. We're going to see a little bit of damage. One Berserker down. Another Berserker, well, 2 very low hit point Berserkers. There goes another, and another, giving level 3 to the Mountain King. Level 2 Stormbolt. We know how much that can be a change, as the Mountain King should at least pick off something here in this chase. There's a little bit of extra damage. There's a bloke, and still could perhaps chase a little bit longer to go after the Berserker. Mountain King does have the Boots of Speed. He's chasing after another target. Eyes on the prize, trying to finish off something. Is he going to go after another unit? Does have a Stormbolt ready, a bullet in the chamber, waiting for it. Still waiting for it, and we're still seeing a lot of heal here. All right, what is going to go down? Mountain King, Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer never had that many hit points. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Farseer summons up wolves, but gets taken down. Egg has been taken down as well. Siphon mana off of the Naga Sea Witch. There's a Holy Light keeping the Blood Mage alive. Paladin's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Flame Strike onto the Berserkers. Berserkers being forced to walk away. That's a lot of damage lost as well, as the Mountain King is now making its way back around. All right, the Mountain King going after some of these targets. There goes another Berserker. Berserker after Berserker is falling left and right. Divine Shield on the Paladin, Holy Light on the Blood Mage, and it is the human tri-hero trying very hard to finish off all of these targets. Paladin continuing the push here as well. There goes another Berserker again, and well, the Mountain King, well, Stormbolt onto the Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch could be in trouble. Is we going to see a bash? We saw a lucky bash. Naga Sea Witch falls at level 5. Paladin is in trouble. Paladin needs another 6 seconds for Divine Shield. Still walking away, down to 250 hit points, but that Ring of Regeneration really, well, representing a good amount of hit points. There's an Invul Potion there. He's going to be able to stay alive a little while longer, and now we see some damage onto the Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter going to be in trouble. Shadowhunter trying to get away. Mountain King doesn't have enough for a bullet in the chamber yet, as there's now Siphon Mana. Mountain King has enough. Oh, tried to Stormbolt, but the Shadowhunter got away in time. All right, Rifleman getting in the way of that Shadowhunter. A little bit of path blocking there. Mountain King looking to rear back and throw the hammer down. Is the Shadowhunter going to be able to get away easily? Paladin trying to get in front on the other side. Mountain King should have enough. No, there's a roadblock. There's a Stormbolt. Shadowhunter going to fall. Double level up. Level 7, level 4 for those Tri-Hero. And that is the game. An amazing game between Cash and Tho, going back and forth. A major difference in the amount of gold being mined between these two players. Yep. And overall, an amazing, amazing game. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Here are your final scores. Tho really carrying the game with that hero level advantage he was able to establish early on.